Mental health awareness doesn't stop though. You know, we celebrated and we acknowledged last week, but it's an ongoing thing that we should always be aware of. Your own mental health as well. This morning we've got a couple of cool cats in to talk about their mental health journey. And actually within the construction industry, this will be really quite interesting for a lot of you. And can I just start off by saying that some of the content of what we're going to be talking about may be triggering. So we're going to be diving deep into some deep stuff. So just be aware that that's going to happen. And also that, there's helplines available to you. I mean, there's a 24/7 helpline on 1737 if you want to talk to somebody as well.
We welcome to the studio Ronnie and Troy. Kia ora, gentlemen.
Morning.
What's up, fellas?
Couple of lean, fit fighting machines.
I was going to say that, bro.
Who are in tip-top shape and form at the moment. So we're talking about the charity boxing event that you guys both took part in. So this was actually, I would have gone along to it, Troy. I would love to have been there. But unfortunately, we were in Christchurch launching a new frequency on the very same night, so we weren't able to be there. But it was all done for Mates in Construction, Ronnie, who you're involved with. And did you have 19 boxing matches on one night?
Yeah, it was quite full on actually, to be fair. Yeah, so Troy fought at the back end of the card. So he fought, number 18, Troy?
That's right.
Oh, your main event, Troy.
Nearly. One before.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So tell us a little bit about like the training and stuff going into it. You've got all of these guys. Where do they all come from? All in the construction industry who are stepping up to take part? Not professional boxers, right?
No, not at all. Like they really wanted us to be, for the most part, not having experienced boxing or martial arts in any way. But some of them had a little bit, but no one had ever really fought.
Yeah, okay.
But they were right across the industry, right from people working at hire pool, right through to people on the tools. So yeah.
So how long was your training for to get into the? So you had no fighting experience?
No, not at all. I thought, what am I doing? I don't do this. But I was reasonably fit until day one of the 12-week camp hit, and I realised I wasn't.
Day one?
Yeah.
12 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, so you built in slowly.
How, when you're gearing up for a boxing match, right, you obviously want to be in the best shape and everything you can, so I'm sure you took it very seriously. How frequently are you sort of training leading up to the bout?
For us, we think we train about 3 times a week. So for the red team, because Troy and I were in the opposite team.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay.
For the red team, we train Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And for some of us, we picked up more training along the way. But it was quite full on because for someone coming out of the couches, it's pretty full on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I guess you had a reason to be motivated, the Mates in Construction, but I guess for your own personal fitness journey, you sort of want to be on top of all that as well. So that must have motivated you to sort of, because you said you were already fit to start with, Troy.
Yeah, it did for me hugely, because I thought if I can be fitter than my opponent, I give myself the biggest chance. So that hugely motivated me.
What was one thing that sort of like you went, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing here, man, when you came to it?
Probably the sparring, like when that started kicking in, we did that once a week, and getting hit around, like properly hit, you realise, this is serious.
Can you give a demonstration with the owner?
Well, I did bring the gloves, so...
Pound it to him, bro, pound it to him.
What's that Mike Tyson quote? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
That's exactly right.
It must be true. Yeah, awesome. So tell us, Ronnie, a little bit about Mates in Construction. So, and you work full-time for these guys, right?
Yeah, so I work full-time with Mates. I've been with Mates for about 9 odd months now.
Yeah, cool.
Prior to that, I was in the construction industry, and Mates actually exists because we are currently dealing with something called the mental health within the construction industry, and we exist with the invitation of the industry. We actually established across the ditch in Australia. And with the invitation in the industry and acknowledging the importance of what we do over there and bringing it here, because statistically showed us that construction industry has the highest rate of suicide in any industry here in New Zealand.
Why is it?
Why is that? It's because there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we understand there's pressures in life, but also there's a lot of pressure within the construction industry, right? And no one really talks about it, and that's the reason why. That's why we are the top. We don't bring the medal forward, but our job in Mates in Construction is to raise awareness.
Great.
Do you think there's also like a problem with like I used to work in the trades when I first left school and stuff, and there's kind of it's quite a male dominated industry in a lot of ways, and on building sites and stuff like that you kind of can get that kind of macho classic New Zealand man bravado sort of thing going on, and there's like maybe pride involved, and when people are dealing with a lot of stress and carrying the weight of like running a business and having people work for them and all that kind of stuff, and everything's contracts that can quickly come to an end or go south. That they're too, I don't know, can't talk about that kind of stress and pressure.
Well, put it this way, I've been across the country going into a construction site the last 9 months.
Yeah.
I've never been in a smoky area where everyone talks about their feelings.
Yeah, right.
It's
Yeah.
never an open conversation. And we never talk about it because, like you said, the pride comes along. And we're actually starting to see a shift on that because we're starting to see that it's actually okay to have a bad day. It's okay to, things are not going right for you. But, our job is to make sure that we spot those.
Yeah.
And to make sure that they are aware that there is help.
Last week, obviously, we were full on with acknowledging and celebrating Mental Health Awareness Week. And we got that message loud and clear, especially in the construction, in an environment like the construction industry where it's predominantly male. Would that be correct? Yeah. That guys just don't open up, as you pointed out. So what's a couple of things that you do to allow conversation to start?
Well, I start with my own personal experience.
Yeah.
How I got started and what my journey looks like. And for me, it's not about building trust. It's just understanding that you're actually not in this journey alone.
Good call, bro.
It's actually not a journey of one. It's a journey of us. And for those to put their hands up, it could be the strongest thing they could ever say. It's one of the strongest things that a human being can ever do is to put their hands up when they're struggling because it's powerful. You're acknowledging that I'm struggling and how can you reach out? How can you actually go forward? And there's a lot of beautiful things here in Aotearoa that we can actually use to do that. There's a lot of services around us.
Absolutely. We're keen to hear Troy's story, actually, about his growth over the last little wee while. So before we get to that, though, we haven't even talked about who won.
We're running out of time, I think.
Oh no, Troy!
He's come out on top. He's come out on top.
Well, the thing is, we all came out on top,
you did. You
and
did.
everyone that stepped in that ring won before they even got in there. And unfortunately, my fight got called at the end of the first round. So I was disappointed. Our team lost as well. Ronnie's red team took out the night.
Fists in the air, Ronnie.
But good call there, bro.
So, disappointed, but I enjoyed the experience and I put everything in I could, and the better fighter won on the night in my bout.
Well, I mean, no one's professional fighters. It's really about the event and what you were there to raise money for. And, it's all about raising money for mates in construction. Do you know how much was kind of raised or came in?
It's still in the grey area. They're still trying to figure out because funds are actually still coming through.
Oh, great.
So
Yeah, cool.
it's a constant thing. So it's, we're finding out probably in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, awesome.
But I know it's one of the biggest events they've ever held. So that's awesome.
Well done, bro. Troy, for you, I mean, you went into this because something was calling you inside to give it a crack. But as Ronnie said just before we started, everyone's got a story. So if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about your mental health journey, bro, that would be really cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I jumped straight into the construction industry at 2001. No idea what I wanted to do, but I love woodwork. So I was like, okay, I'll become a builder. So I jumped in there, dream apprenticeship. Everything was smooth and exciting so I got qualified in 2005. I also got married during that time as well. Life was good, and we bought our first house. We're starting to tick all the boxes.
Living the Kiwi dream.
That's it. But, what I've learnt in life is that there's always going to be obstacles along the way, So at that stage, not having a lot of pressure, just working for someone, it's reasonably good within the industry, for me at that time. And in 2007, we had our first baby, our baby boy, Caden. And, it was time for one of those hiccups for us without knowing. And at 5 weeks old, we lost them. And that's sort of when my world came crashing down, really. And completely unexpected, just woke up in the night and here's this beautiful little baby boy, which was everything we hoped and dreamed of. And my wife's real own passion in life was gone. And that's when the battle began for us and for me in the industry. And, you know, coming out of that, there wasn't a mates in construction at that point, but, you know, I had people around me, I had my faith, I had this strength that I needed during that time, and that's what got me through. And, you know, into 2008, we were blessed to have our second boy, which brought a lot of healing, but also a lot more fear as well. For some stupid reason, I decided to start a business then as well, which I always wanted to do, but hey, why not just do it in the hardest time of your life? We built our second home, you know, we're living in the garage. You know, when we started to build this business up, only for it to come crashing down a few years later, you know, and basically lost everything.
Is that through the sort of 2008 financial kind of?
No, you know, we managed to get through that, but, you know, just being young in business, we just made a lot of errors. It was competitive within a small town of Thames, and it was tough going, you know, but I don't ever regret that period because I learned a lot through it and learned how to run a business properly, how not to run it. And somehow we were able to work our way out of that. We moved to Auckland 8 years ago, 2015, and you know we managed to get some really good people around us within the church and a new friend group that really helped us, and I was able to we don't owe anyone a single cent to this day through that period. And you know, when this opportunity came up, I thought, this is not me boxing, you know, this is not me hurting people or wanting to be in the industry at all, but I thought if I can help one person like I was able to push through, then it's one more person that gets to live life and enjoy it. And, you know, I think everybody deserves to go through life. And, you know, I lost my cousin. I know what it's like to lose someone to suicide and what it does to the family, you know, and it's tough, and everybody deserves to be here. And if we can do something to help that, then it was worth every punch that I took, every sit-up that I had to do, every kilometre that I had to run. I did it for those people and for those people moving forward, and to represent Ronnie and go, here's some money to go and keep going in this and pick up people like me that, you know, we needed that support at the time. And although I never went down the suicide journey myself, I know how it could have gone and how it does go for someone, and they don't win their battle.
Well said, brother. Well said.
I mean, at the moment, you know, things like Ronnie, you shared just earlier while we were off air about how many guys just even in the boxing crew basically lost their jobs whilst training, right? Like it was quite a high number of the people that were boxing sort of had a downturn in their work, or? Yeah,
most of the residential guys actually within our camp lost their job. It was just been difficult for them. But for them it was, the boxing itself was a challenge. But for them, it was just being around the people that had the same story. Not the same story, but the same feeling as what they were going through. It's just going through that. And I told them, you know, we'll help them out.
Yeah, totally.
It's around those times when you know that you need to reinforce the fact that people aren't going through it alone. You mentioned it earlier, and everyone's got their back. Troy, I just want to come back to what you said there about your faith. You mentioned it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Can I ask how that helped you strengthen your journey?
Yeah, well, I think that I needed that lift, you know, and without it, I don't know where I'd be today, you know, and it was really just drawing on what God had in me. And I think he recognized that I needed that support during that time. And, you know, even just remembering back to carrying out a tiny little casket, how did I do that? And I didn't do it, you know. There was a much bigger strength that helped me through that period. And, you know, I think that we all need that strength, that lift. We all need a mates in construction at times to just get us through those periods and get us back, you know, climbing that mountain again and, you know, getting ready for what might be the next dip in life or the next tough period or the next person we lose, or, you know, it's not all just going to be butterflies and rainbows.
Shout outs to you guys for all the amazing work that you're doing, Ronnie, with Mates in Construction, and Troy for sharing your story. And hopefully, if there's anybody listening that is, in the trades or in any industry really that is experiencing that pressure, that weight, the stress of carrying, other people, employees, contracts, all of that kind of stuff going on, that it's an encouragement that there's help out there and that you can talk about it and there's people you can reach out to. And even if things seem like they're all spiraling downwards, like you shared, Troy, that doesn't have to be the end of your story.
Yeah, well, at the moment, this week we're going to lose one person in the construction industry. And next week will be the same, won't it, Ronnie?
Yeah, so we are losing one person to our industry each week. And, considering how big the industry is and how small our population is, there's 5.1 million. We're losing one person a week in our industry. And that to me hits home.
Yeah, that's frightening stats. And, we spoke about it last week, that those of us who are in a position to be able to reach out and help is a lot easier than asking the question the other side, because usually when somebody's spiraling, the last thing they want to do is reach out. So you both are in a position now to reach out and sort of talk to other people who may be going through a little bit of an issue or going through some challenges. So what would you be saying to somebody who might be listening right now, who may be just facing a little bit of a hiccup, a little bit of a hurdle right now?
Yeah, well, I think it's just the hope that it is going to be okay. There is another side. There is people that have been through similar stories, and life's worth living. And the people that love you, they want you in their life, and you're worth it. You're worth sticking around. You're worth going right to the end. And yeah, it's not worth going down that journey of not being here anymore.
Amen, Troy.
I want to give 2 shout outs. So, Mates in Construction, you guys registered charity or not for profit, so people can actually make a donation to you guys and support the great work that you're doing, Ronnie. I know you raised a lot on the boxing event, but the more that can come in, the more awareness you guys can spread and chat around the country. So, what's the website for Mates in Construction?
It's just Mates in Construction, New Zealand, and thank you for bringing us here.
Oh, anytime.
Putting a light into something that has never been spoken about. It's a conversation we don't have. It's a conversation we never really talk about. But it's not a conversation that we have to talk about, because it is a constant issue. And just remember, this journey is not a journey of one. It's a journey of us.
Absolutely, man. You can check them out. Google it if you want to. It's Mates in Construction. Again, Troy and Ronnie, thank you again for coming through. All the best in your journey. God bless you both, man.